everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 bronzers for girls with super fair, pale to light skin tones, because I am with you, girl. I have very fair, light skin, so I know the struggle of finding a perfect bronzer or tanning product for the summertime that doesn't look too orange or doesn't look too dark, and that just looks natural on your skin. So these are some of my suggestions for those of you who have really fair skin tones and find it hard to find a bronzer that looks natural on you for the summertime. Because in my personal opinion, in the summertime, I want to have a little bit of glow and a little bit of color, but I know that it can be hard to find bronzers or any sort of tanning product that give you that color without looking orange. So these are just some of my suggestions for those of you with my skin tone or lighter or a little bit, teeny bit darker. I am around an NW15 in MAC, so I am very fair, very pale. I have pink undertones, so a lot of these bronzers are especially going to work if you have my kind of skin tone, but I will just let you know what I think of the products and what kind of skin tone it definitely works best for while I'm talking through the products in this video. Also, although these bronzers are in my top 5 for pale to light skin tones, they're not in any certain order. I'm just kind of going a random order. So the first bronzer I'm going to talk about is one of my absolute favorites, not only for pale, fair, or light skin tones, but for almost about any skin tone in my opinion. And this is NARS Laguna, and as you can see, I have hit pan on it. I'm actually trying to work on NARS Laguna and NARS Orgasm, which is this blush right here. I'm trying to hit pan or use those up this year, but I have been really loving this bronzer. NARS Laguna has a very neutral undertone and it's more on the brown side. So that's why I feel like it would go with a lot of different skin tones, because it's not orange, it doesn't have too much warmth, but it's also not cool like a contour color. I just feel like it's right in the middle. So I feel like that's why it works with so many skin tones. And in the pan it has a little bit of shimmer, but on your skin it barely shows up. So I think the shimmer just kind of makes it look a little bit more natural and a little bit more skin-like, and it makes you look a little bit more glowy. Also, this bronzer is not super duper pigmented. The swatch on my arm is from about 2 to 3 passes of this bronzer, so that's, I feel like, one of the key things for those of you with pale or fair skin tones is find a bronzer that isn't super pigmented, because if it's too pigmented then it's going to look too dark on you. So I feel like NARS Laguna has the perfect amount of pigmentation to not look too dark or too orange on those of you with fair to light skin tones. So that's why I like NARS Laguna so much, because it's the right amount of pigmentation. It's not too pigmented, but not enough pigmentation, and it's kind of the right undertone and the right shade that can work with so many different kinds of skin tones. So once I use up NARS Laguna, it's definitely the one I will be repurchasing, and the one that I pretty much like the most out of all of the bronzers I'm going to be showing you today. Now this next bronzer, to be quite honest, is not one of my personal absolute favorite bronzers, but if you are the palest of the pale, the whitest of the whitest, ghostly white, then this bronzer might just work for you. And this is the MAC Golden Rondon powder. Now it's in the Alluring Aquatic packaging, but this is a permanent product from MAC. And this is what MAC's Golden look like. Now it looks really dark in the packaging, but it actually turns out to be kind of a beigey, it doesn't really have shimmer, it's kind of a satin almost, and it has a little bit of warmth, but it's not a warmth that makes you look orange. Now why this isn't one of my absolute favorite bronzers in my collection is that it is not pigmented at all. I remember using this one day. I used it with a Sonia Kashuk brush that I use for my bronzer or blush, and I just felt like that when I was applying it to my face, it pretty much looked like I didn't apply any bronzer on my face. Now also my skin tone isn't super duper fair. It's definitely on the fair side, but I mean there definitely are girls out there who are paler than me. So with my skin tone in mind and how this powder isn't super duper pigmented, it didn't show up on me. Now, as you can see where MAC Golden is swatched, it is definitely the least pigmented out of all of the bronzers I'm going to be showing you. All of the swatches of all of the bronzers on my arm are from at least 2 to 3 passes, where the one of this MAC Golden bronzer is from like 5 or 6 passes. So this bronzer is not very pigmented, but if you are very fair or very ghostly, and use the right kind of brush that will pick up a lot of it, I really think that this bronzer could work for you. Now this next bronzer is one of my newest bronzers in my collection, and it's kind of becoming one of my favorites. And this is the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster Bronzer in the light to medium skin tone. Now I feel like the Physicians Formula bronzers have been really hyped and talked about on YouTube. And I've heard a lot of good things about these bronzers. So when I saw that Ulta had 40% off on the Physicians Formula bronzers, I thought I would pick up one and try it. Now, I was really tempted to get the butter bronzer because that is really popular right now and looks like it would be beautiful for fair to light skin tones, but I actually have been talking to someone in the comments of my videos. I will link her down in the description box below, but I've been talking to her a lot, and she said that she loved the Physicians Formula bronzers as well, but she said to start it with this one. So I'm like, okay, I will take your suggestions. But anyways, this is what it looks like. Now this is the bronze booster for light to medium skin tones. They do have one for medium to dark skin tones, but obviously if you're here, you probably have a very fair to light skin tone like I do. Now this bronzer is pretty pigmented. It's definitely one of the most pigmented I'm showing you today, but the pigmentation, you can definitely make it less pigmented if you need to, but also I feel like it kind of has a little bit of a warmth to it because it is a bronzer after all, but it's sort of a neutral, sort of goldeny bronzer. I think it just looks really nice, especially on my skin tone. I'm actually wearing it on my face today. I don't know if you can tell because of the lighting, but I am wearing it on my face today to give me a little bit of a glow. So I really have been enjoying this bronzer. I really like the formula of it as well. It's matte, so if you're looking for a light matte bronzer, then this is perfect for you. I really just have been enjoying this bronzer a lot lately, and I really think that it can work for those of you who are fair to light skin tones. Now this bronzer is another bronzer that if you are the palest of the pale, this will work for you as well. And this is the Body Shop Honey Bronzing Powder in the shade 01. And this is what the bronzer looks like. I actually got this off of a blog sale, so this was actually used by someone else before me, so it looks like it's been used a lot more than I actually have been using it. But I definitely have really been enjoying this bronzer. Now this bronzer, it is definitely more of a neutral toned bronzer. It's a little bit more brown than some of the rest of the bronzers I've been showing you, and it definitely is matte. So if you're looking for a matte bronzer, then this is the one for you. And this bronzer is definitely the least golden or least warm. It does have a hint of warmth, because if it had no warmth in it at all, then it would be more of a contour. So I guess I would say that this bronzer is a little bit more of a bronzer contour hybrid, but more of a bronzer. Now I say that this is more for the fairest of the fair skin tones because it is a little bit less pigmented. It is more pigmented than the MAC bronzer that I talked about earlier, but it definitely is less pigmented. Now when I put it on my face, it shows up a little bit, but it doesn't show up a lot. Now, I think you can build this bronzer up just a little bit, especially for me, because I have to build this bronzer up a little bit, but it's still not super duper pigmented. I kind of like how this bronzer doesn't have too much warmth in it, but yet it still kind of works as a bronzer. And also this line from the Body Shop has a ton more bronzer shades to choose from, and I think this one is definitely like the coolest of all of them. So I definitely would go into a Body Shop store near you to see which bronzer works for you, but I really recommend this bronzer. I haven't tried it out too much, so I can't say too much about how long it lasts or the formula, but I definitely think this is a good pick for those of you with fair skin tones. Now the last bronzer type product I'm going to be talking about in this video is from Bare Minerals, and this is the Bare Minerals All Over Face Color in the shade Warmth. Now I know that not too many people are a fan of Bare Minerals in general, especially because this is one of those products that comes as a loose powder, but I am telling you, this bronzer is really fantastic. Now I wouldn't say that this bronzer would work too well for those of you with ghostly white or very pale skin tones, but if you are my skin tone or like a tiny bit darker, if you're in kind of the light category of shades, I really think this bronzer would work really well on you. Now this bronzer is called Warm for a Reason. Definitely is the warmest out of all of the shades that I'm showing you, but this bronzer is unique out of all of the shades that I'm showing because it has some red into it. Now, as for someone who has pink undertones, that is really great to have in a bronzer because a bronzer with more red undertones is going to look really natural on you. Now this bronzer is pretty pigmented. Even though it is a mineral bronzer, it's pretty pigmented and pretty dark, as you can see in there, but it definitely comes out a little bit lighter on your skin, and because it is a bare minerals like mineral powder, you can build it up or make it less pigmented as you want. It's just a very natural looking powder, and it definitely does give some warmth to your face like it says in the title of this product. This is probably the bronzer that I've been using the longest, and this was one of my first favorite bronzer discoveries because before I found this bronzer, I felt like every bronzer just looked orange on me, but because this one has a red undertone, it's kind of brown, but definitely mostly that reddy brown. It just looks really natural on me. So if you have pink undertones or fair undertones, then I really think this bronzer would work out well for you, especially because of its undertones. So I've been going on and on about it, but I just think this is a great bronzer. And if you are white, I don't think this would work out for you, but it definitely works out for my skin tone for sure. Now I actually have a couple of bonus products to talk about with you guys because the products that I talk to you are definitely more categorized as actual bronzers, where some of these next couple things are more either for contouring or blush, and I actually have a self tanner I want to show you. Now I'm kind of putting these together, but these are cheek products that can kind of work in a myriad of ways. If none of the bronzers I showed worked for your skin tone, then these absolutely might. Now the first one I want to talk about is from theBalm, and this is the Balm Desert, and this is a little sample. Now this says you can use it either as a bronzer or a blush. It definitely has a little bit of a cool undertone compared to some of the other bronzers I showed you. So I feel like you could use it as a blush, you could use it as a bronzer, or I feel like some skin tones could even use this as a contour shade. So that's why I kind of included it as a bonus, because I feel like it's not a actual warming bronzer, but I feel like this could definitely work out as a bronzer, blush, contour kind of shade, especially for fair to light skin tones. And also Benefits Dallas is very similar to theBalm's Balm Desert. It's definitely kind of, again, that sort of cool toned blush color that can work as a blush, bronzer, or contour. So this right here is Benefits Dallas, and this swatch right here is theBalm's Balm Desert. So as you can see, the Benefits Dallas is a little bit more on the warmy brown side. It's not as cool or red as the Balm Desert. So they are kind of similar products and work very similarly, but I do feel like they have different undertones. So if you're pink or fair like me, then I really think the Balm Desert will work the best for you because it has a red undertone. So I think it would work really nicely as a bronzer, contour, or even a blush. And then the Balm Desert is a little bit more warm or golden. It has a little bit of a cool undertone compared to the bronzers I showed earlier, but I think it still works really well on my skin. But again, these just have two different undertones that kind of do similar things to your face. Now the last product I'm going to talk about is my absolute favorite self-tanning product that I've ever tried for my fair skin, and this is the Saint Tropez Gradual Tan in shower tanning lotion. Now this is a deluxe size that I got in a Birchbox last summer. And so what you do is that you take a shower, do everything you need to in the shower, and then you turn off your shower and you apply this anywhere you want kind of glowy skin. And then after that, you have to wait 3 minutes in your wet skin with this product on. Now that is kind of my least favorite part of this product, but it works, so I deal with it. So after you wait 3 minutes, then you turn the shower back on and you kind of wash it off. And then once you're done with the shower and you dry off, it develops into a really nice golden color on your skin. This is the only self-tanner that I've ever tried that doesn't look orange on me. It just gives me a really nice glow. Now, if you only use it once, it's not gonna look noticeably dark on you. I feel like I can use this once and it just gives a tiny bit of a glow, but I really feel like you get the best result when you use this like maybe once every other day or so, and then it gives you an actual tan or an actual glow. Now I mostly use this on my arms and legs, really just where skin is showing, or on my décolleté, like right here, just really where skin is showing, and I want it to look nice and glowy and not super pale and white for the summertime. So if you are a light to medium or darker shade, they have come out with this product in a darker shade in this formula, because this product is not super pigmented and doesn't give a very dark tan. So if you are very ghostly white or pale light like I am, then this works really nice and just gives you a nice glowy tan, or really just kind of a glow. It's not super tan, it's just more of a glow. But if you have a light to medium or darker skin tone, then you probably will not think that this product works at all because it doesn't show up on you. So they have come out with a darker color, but I really just love this product. I love how easy it is. You don't have to like sit out and wait for it to dry because you just use it in the shower. And if you've seen my channel before, then you know that I love to use products in the shower because I just feel like that's so easy. It makes it easier. Anything that I can do in the shower that makes, you know, my beauty routine easier, that makes me happy. So I really, really love this self tanner, and I honestly, once I'm done with this deluxe size bottle, I probably would repurchase it. So those were some of my favorite bronzers and tanning products for the summertime. For those of you with fair, pale to light skin tones, I really hope this video was helpful for you. I know that some of these bronzers I am so happy to have found that work for my skin tone. If you have any bronzers that work really well for your skin tone, then please let me know down in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then please thumbs up this video, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Bye everyone!